This list I've just kind of got running of ones that are set up or have moved, which I reckon I can share somehow if I can work out how to do it. Hmm. Possibly. Oh, there we go. Right, I'll do that after, and I'll just keep a running list shared of ones that are still ready. But there's a few things I want to look at first. I can hear myself. So obviously the problem we're in right now in the market is that we move when the market moves, and there's not too many swings moving when it's a bad day in the market. Even was it when we were trying to play? I think it was this one on Thursday. Tried to break out, and then the market decided to turn around, so we just lost the whole breakout. So I think keeping an eye on the market is probably worth doing, especially since it shouldn't be too hard for us if we're playing these kind of more boring, slower setups. So having having a spy or something up, well, preferably ES, but having one of them up is probably worth doing just to see what's happening. Obviously, last couple of weeks has been good for us, especially last week. So we look at this for the last 2 weeks. This is basically VIX and the volatility of VIX. So you can see they've kind of diverged. So we had a charm bid and we had a Vanna bid for the last week, which meant every dip was buyable in the market, which meant that it was kind of the same for us. So we had a lot of market strength, but problem obviously is that a lot of people have the same thesis that me and Chathan pretty much put out. Was it like 2 months ago or something, or last month, that we'd probably hit this 4300 reoffer and then we might look to start finding a bit more weakness again. So we're pretty much there. You can see where the reoffer was. So we obviously gapped down hard here, and then every time we got back to 4300, it reoffered and people went super short and we sold off, and eventually buyers just gave up, and that caused this whole kind of death move that we've been in since then. So whatever happens at this level is going to happen, but there is a chance that somewhere between here and here we're probably going to fail back down into this area down here. So that's worth keeping in mind for the moves. So I mean, there's possibilities that it can go higher. It could sit in this range for a good few weeks. But yeah, we're probably going to see a bit more weakness again at some point. And you can see what's obviously been happening this year is this is our main year's pivot, and this level down here. So good chance that this will have to fill in somehow, one side and then the other, but it will fill in. So don't expect this is just going to keep going this way and we're going to do the same thing. But what has been relatively promising is that smalls have actually been showing a bit more relative strength. So you can see their overall year, we're actually quite a bit higher up in terms of the full move, because we did extend a lot further down. Smalls went down, you can see there they went down to prior point of control, and went under COVID highs, or COVID lows, COVID highs. So yeah, we've had a lot of market strength. I mean, you can see the bid really clearly in small caps, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on now, because this can't go on forever. And we obviously see things not working when the market doesn't play with us. So if we look at Thursday, you can see we had the morning breakout in the market into open, and then we sold off all day, and that's the exact same that's happening in a $2 bio stock, which is just the market that we're in right now. So worth keeping an eye on to know when it might be time to adapt your plans. obviously on this one, initial target was here, so we hit it anyway at 236, and sales were over it, and I know Boba sold anyway, but yeah, worth keeping an eye on, because if we're getting to this level, you can see the market starting to turn around. Just take a little bit more out and put a stop in. I mean, you can take a loss of a little bit of your move, just in case the market turns around. You're not following it too hard, but yeah, definitely worth paying attention to, because this just it can't keep going. We are going to see a bit more weakness again, but doesn't mean the moves won't keep happening. Just means that they might take a little longer. They might be a bit more choppy, and the breakouts may not be quite as strong. Obviously, we're not going to see these too often. If the market starts falling back down again, but we could still break out. It just wouldn't continue as far. I mean, even just to here was a great trade. So yeah, that's just something I want you guys to pay attention to. You don't need to learn everything that we do in futures, but just having a rough idea of what's happening with the strength of the market intraday is worth paying attention to. But yeah, so list is currently here, and we'll just add some new ones as we go. So I'm using this scanner just now. It's pretty simple. I know Boba's posted his ones in the swing room as well, but you can just play off anything you fancy with this, as long as you're finding the flag setups. Obviously, what I'm trying to do with mine, by having the two MAs here, is just trying to get some kind of Momo and some time frame. So I'll try and get at least half of daily Momo set up already, just by having the MAs there, and I've put current volume quite high just now, but that's more just for me, for liquidity's sake. You can have a 100k and play setups that I can't sensibly get in if you're playing with a smaller account. But yeah, this is what I'm using. You can add other things, so you can have your week or your month up. You can play with some volatility stats and stuff as well, but this one is what I've been using. So there's almost 1,000 charts, so we're not going to go through them all, obviously. We'll take a look at the first couple of pages, and then other ones I like, I'll just add to the list and share them. So like things like this is what we want to find. So this is what we're looking for. We missed this move, or I missed this move anyway, but that would be a good one. And you can see there's a good few Bitcoin stocks are popping up on these now as well, and they've been there for a while, but quite a few of them have earnings this week coming up. I know Bitfarms is one of them, and I'm pretty sure it's Monday or Tuesday in this week as well. So Bitcoin earnings should be kind of coming up through quite a lot of them just now. But yeah, we're looking for slightly better setups than that anyway. So our solars are still here as well, and they're flagging again pretty much. So Sun W is a new swing high on Friday, but I mean, we know the charts of these ones, so we don't need to go through them too much. So things like this probably worth looking at. So that's got the right vibe that we're kind of trying to get. So obviously 6 was our original breakout support, and what they're doing is soaking in these cells from this block back here just now. So looks like it's a bit more liquid, yeah. So 300 odd float. Quite easy to play ones like this, and this means shit in Scottish, so hopefully it doesn't play that way. But yeah, another one again. So they've had earnings, decent earnings, which has been a running factor just now, that things seem to break out their flags after earnings. So we had LQDA did the exact same thing. Not expecting the same flag, not as powerful in this one, but yeah, so you can see it's trying to get a move up to 8s. If it breaks the flag, it's closed over halfway through. So what you're kind of looking at doing now is just trying to see if it shows strength in the next week, and see if this bottom flag turns into our demand, like we talked about in the last video last week. So we want this to turn into our buy zone down here now and get through that bearish to neutral to bullish stage, and try and buy off this line eventually in the middle at 650s. Yeah, that's not a bad look to this one, and it looks like it's got some range because it's pretty new, so it should be quite light in terms of volume off this area here. Yeah, so it's kind of aiming for this high volume node in here, which looks fair enough, but looks like a break over 7s. It does have potential to get higher than that, probably up to 9s, and into this little order block in here is probably what we'd be aiming at eventually. It's going to have res there though, and in the start of this kind of low volume node, that looks like it's gapped down overnight or something in that area. So yeah, that's probably a decent one to watch. I know I think we tried to play this a couple of months ago. I remember talking about it. Maybe been down at one of these flags or something. But yeah, that's worth having on the list. A few of these ones on the list are probably too far now, so I'll try and trim some of them out as well. That one is worth paying attention to. CMRX. So these monkeypox plays, the SIGA still looks relatively strong on higher time frames. I'm a bit skeptical of some of the sympathies now. I mean, this one looks great just because of the gap, and it could be tradable just as its own chart now, which, I mean, it still looks decent for a move over 3. You've got a full dollar move almost in it, but try not and play them as a sympathy just now. I don't think the power's quite there for it anymore. I don't know if this is a giant flag or just a weird range. No, don't like that. So, I mean, see, if you look at charts like this, it's kind of clear that even if we break out of this, we're just into another high volume node. Like, you can see there's not going to be range here. The range move was like this zone here. That's where we've got low volume. So your low volume is back down, or your low volume is probably up above here. So not something interested in just now. So GRN, I took this over the weekend. Still looks pretty strong from a bounce off the 2 retest, which I took. Could be on watch for continuation. I can't remember what the higher time frames look like in terms of what it can get over that. Take a look here. Yeah, so there's a gap in it up to quite a big gap actually. I think that's a whole daily gap there. Yes, so there's a huge gap in it up to 6s. So definitely one that's worth watching. It could be a little bit slower, just because of the amount of volume that's stuck down there and the size of that gap. Obviously, it's not going to straight up fill it. There's levels in there from stages before there, but one that you can probably watch next week in terms of trying to get dip buy off it, because they lock 3 days down here on the retest level, so potentially buyable off there. And it seems like it had earnings, so those are out right now as well. And that's one I'm already in, so I won't spend too much talking about it, so I don't look like a pamper. So this, again, nice flag, but not too interested because it doesn't look like there's range until it's over that high. I don't fancy playing in there. Something like this could be interesting though. Yeah, I mean, this one's got a gap. I fear it's got res straight over the gap as well, so not super interested. I clicked the wrong one there, I think, did I not? Did I not quite click on? Yeah, this one. This is what I wanted. Yeah, that looks a bit better. Let's take a look at this one. What floats nice. 140 million. That's not too bad. It's got a decent enough look to it. It's got a bit of a RYTM vibe to it. Let's see what we got. I mean, probably not Sky. I mean, not quite the range I want in terms of volume. Can you hear her snoring? She's barking in her sleep. Yeah, so seems like it's pretty low volume that's in that range at least. So I mean, that was probably the flag that we wanted to play back here. But I mean, you can see how much volume is stuck in this range down here, so it's probably one that you can keep on watch for a while for more setups, but it could just be a little bit slower through this kind of mid-range here, just because of the volume that's stuck in it. So I might have to chew through this a bit till it gets a bit more steam to it, but yeah, not a top watch, but a decent looking chart. Let's see what else we've got. That one's on the list already, so I won't go through it. I'll try and avoid some of the ones that are too expensive or gappy looking. PAVM has earnings, I'm pretty sure, and I'm also pretty sure it's a pump. Right, this one could be cool. 300 million float. Lovely. Well, it's not going to be fast, but it's got range. I mean, just for that whole gap, I'm going to put an alerts on it just because that's a nice, easy trade. I mean, there's hardly any volume in this area from over here either. So you got a 1690 spike, but it's pretty old, like 20 years old. Yeah, could be a nice, easy trade, this one. Decent earnings. So there's not much in this block here. This is like last ditch shorts. So in here, it's not going to be too slow either. This 1462, so this high here is your last year volume. So this is like last D-Day shorts up here. So it shouldn't be too slow through here. You may have to make a, kind of another flag in this zone before we get into the gap, but hopefully that's not too expensive as stock, because I know people complain when I show things over like $5. But nice looking chart. Doesn't have Momo obviously because the 200's here, so in gap you're going to get smacked by that, but other things do have it somewhere on this list. Let's see. Wriggle I held as well, purely just because I got it so low. But it's probably worth watching next week as well, just because it's starting to look like it might curl. There's probably some kind of lower time frame inverse going on in here, like a symmetrical breakout. So it's going to be like a flat top 156s, and it does have kind of range up until 2s. So another one, it's already on the list as well, so you can chart those. It's like, oops, shit. Ones like this and this that look like they're flagging. I wouldn't even bother touching them because they're just so extended already. At some point, they're just going to do like an IMTE and just fall off a cliff. So we want a bit better looking flags. ADN from last week still worth watching next week again. It didn't die on Friday after it tried. And what you can do as well, if you prefer, is you can do a custom table by, or custom organization by relative volume if you want as well. So you can choose it and oh, I've not logged in. You can choose it and then order them by relative volume if you prefer. Charts. I just lost my place there. No, hopefully. Hold on a second. That's too expensive. Nah. What's this do? Am I mouse? Go away. There we go. This one's on the list again already. But it's getting really soaky up here. So it looks like it's probably good for some kind of move one way or the other right now, but you're gonna have to risk off like this mini flag instead of the flag now. That we've missed the kind of initial jump move. It still looks pretty decent. Has anyone seen any like big flags? Powerful looking flags?
He posted a couple things in the chat if you want to take a look.
Who did?
In the main classroom. A couple of us. If you want to look at any of those charts too.
The main classroom. Alright. Yeah, I know. Pavem's got earnings though. Pretty sure. Just playing around on the earning whispers. I'm pretty sure they've got. Yeah, they do. And it's already broken, so what you'd probably get is a move to here and then a pull back down, regardless of what happens on ER, unless it's a super win. And then you could probably try and rate it again, but yeah, you were probably wanting to play in here, but I know Pharma D boy was on it. The RGS super ready vol is just shit. Yeah, I mean, you can see what it's holding, so it's just trying to soak over this. But yeah, I know what you mean. It doesn't look like the volume that's going to be fun to play. 65k on Friday is weak. I mean, I could buy that day. Yeah, I mean, the volume could just turn up though. I mean, it's had days where it's rotated 43 million, 41 million, 10 million. So it can have it in it. If it breaks out, it could have it just because of how much is potentially stuck in here. Yeah, it's going to be a bit tricky. got ER around the 16th, seems to be. What's the volume? Let's see a balance. None. Probably your middle one, Ken. For 250s at least. I mean, I could see you coming all the way back down. Like 4,000. If he's in here. Yeah. Right, so I think the main flags are probably already in this. The bigger setups. So this one looks good for a pretty decent break. After ER came in, it's going to be just a breakout swing probably at this point now. But it looks pretty nice. If you're playing higher caps, then EVs still have a bid, so Neo looks alright. That one is kind of deep. This one's moved. MWL we just looked at. Right, ADN is probably a good watch still. So you can see why we're so slow, because the volume doesn't break out until over this 3994 level, but well out of pattern. But that level is going to be pretty mean with the 200 and the volume shelf there, so decent chance that it's going to be one of those ones that break up, come back down, and then try and move. So you could probably get another flag play somewhere up here. This one I still like as well. Same idea though, it's got to get over this high to actually get into low volume. PLRX has been soaking for so long. I mean, look at that for a liquidity trap. That's all its liquidity is in the trap. There's going to be some shit happening there. I can share. You can see the sectors. I'll share that list. And you guys have this. The scanner's on the floor. I don't feel like I need to share it too often because there's so little stuff set in it that it's pretty easy to make your own one. So these kind of flags are great if we can find something like this. They're longer, so the longer the flag, obviously the better chance it is of being a big move like that LQDA one that we just had in our XP looks alright. I think I tried to play this one last week. I remember talking to Brad about it. Right, he's got earnings. Right, he's got earnings tomorrow, it seems to think. But that was probably a decent one to watch. I'll put it on anyway. Very nice looking little flag. SALB, we played this flag breakout, but it still looks alright up here. Could be just soaking again. APLD, if Bitcoin starts moving, looks great for another move. I'll add that, but it's always in an asterisk. Just because we're not just following the market at that point, we're following market and Bitcoin. See if there's any more in these last couple pages. What the hell is this? Is this a pump? This looks like someone pumping up.
Yeah, that's
half a million flow.
Yeah. Picks a pump for sure.
I just had to look at 500,000 flow and I could tell.
yeah. There's a new room on that thing, like BSS especially, but there's a new room on that like every week.
It looks like nonsense. Doesn't look like a nice, boring, easy trade, that's for one. do 2 more pages and see if we find a flag. PSDA.
AUTL has a really good flag, and they don't have earnings until November.
EUTL.
Yeah, they don't have. They just had earnings like a few days ago, and it still stayed in the flag.
Thinking about my dinner if I'm writing pasta in the jar. Yeah, same idea. It's gonna get sticky in this area, but I think it's pretty decent.
What? You have what? No.
Yeah, that's where our shorts are in at 425. So
Open them for me.
that's gonna be big. Get over there. But yeah, I mean, I've loved the stock though. What a great company. At some point, it's got to do something, you imagine, but yeah, it's got the same kind of like as a few of them that it's kind of flagging into another volume shelf. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely still tradable, but they're just a bit slower. Obviously, what we want was that kind of move where we're flagging over the shelf, because that was just great fun. But take what we can get sometimes.
What? You go downstairs and get the load out of the dryer.
Going about credit score time. Right. I'll share the list just now. Let them here. And copy the clipboard. Get lost because I know people will chat. What the problem is that I can't share my levels unless I share every single chart individually. But I think it's pretty obvious where to get them from anyway, so you shouldn't struggle to work out. I mean, you can see where we were stopping was this liquidity and stuff in here, so it would have been a level. I think this one still looks pretty decent. If it can reverse off this, so it's trying to cross over some stuff here. It's not going to get full Momo, but yeah, same with LQDA, so potentially it's not even dead after this move, because it's starting to cross quite a few things already, so you could probably keep watching this one for like another mini swing if we can set up something else in this kind of old high range zone. But yeah, if there's any of the charts on the list that you particularly want the chart for, you can just ask for that chart. Save me sharing all of them, because there's view on it. I think that might be too far if I share them all. So if you find ones you like, or you find other charts you like, great. Then you can ask for charts. $11.8. Why did I read 11.12? I was gonna say that looks weird. Yeah. Yeah, it does. which probably that break it needs Philly, but yeah, potentially there or overextensions up to like here, so definitely looks pretty nice. 200 is going to be a bit annoying. It's already covered at 1, so it may be decently respected at least for a couple of pops. Yeah, it's a decent looking little chart. That's like almost like a Sega trap move on that one. Right here is like this bit where it really gets a move from. But yeah, this has played out. That's played out the full move. Now you can see why I was telling Berkey it was going to hit 25. So I wasn't just being weird. I had a reason. But I think over here it's blow off or time to come back down to earth kind of move now. Even with this, which is just a delayed reaction of Siga, a week or so. So actually still has continuation moves, but doesn't have as much of a reason. Definitely for next week, just because the amount of volume that's stuck in here definitely has short cover and continuation up for another couple of dollar move. I'll leave it. I'll put it on, but it's not the same setup, obviously, just because a massive ass flag. Unless we start flagging in here, we can probably play it for another move as like almost like the SOS kind of whack-off move. Like in here, and then play that move from there. But otherwise, you can probably just keep buying dips on it because shorts are super stuck in here. Unless they fail it under probably these highs. If they fail it under there, it's probably dead. As long as it can hold there, then you're probably good to get some short covers. Yeah, that was probably enough charts for next week. The further I go through this, the less convincing the setups tend to be, so I tend to just get bored after a while. That one, I mean, this could be a watch. That one at the top could probably be a watch. This one looks like it's up to something. Yeah, it's trying to break into this balance. Slightly differently. One's like, it's just, well, actually, this is breaking out, but if you can get a retest on this one, you can probably play this as well. SRTS. Right. This, on the other hand, is not something you want to play, so in fact, I'll just bring it up and trade view. So this I'm waiting to short swing. I know a lot of you guys don't short swing, but in case the market goes back the way it used to be for the last few months, then it may be worth doing. So we got like a shelf here, is kind of what I'm waiting for, and fade it right back down, because it's up on nothing, just nonsense. Like these are short swings. If the market fails again, then obviously your Bitcoins you can short swing, but I'm not super enthusiastic about short swinging right now. There's a few of them, so BTL probably looking to fade back down. It's failed that zone so many times that it's probably worth looking for a short on. RYTM to overextended as well. So depending on what this flag does, it could be a if you guys like the idea of short swings, then I can start posting some in a different watch list as well. But normally it's just me talking to myself in shorts, so I don't talk in there often. Yeah, I don't really have much else to go through because we know the setup now. So I was just doing scanning. I thought you guys might want to go through them as well, but unless there's questions, then just a case of charting them all, which I won't make you suffer watching me do. Unless there's questions. There never seems to be. They're always in my DMs, there's questions. There's not been any vocal questions since Gut left. Right, so while I'm here, for watching your markets, you can get a mini VIX on your broker charts up as well, and just mark off like 20 and 30. You can kind of see when it's generally a good time to look to buy and look to sell, because we should be turning around from down here. It's worth having worth having this with your market. So on TradingView, I've just got it as an indicator on the bottom of my, on the bottom. Why is it doing that? Oh shit, I've just closed that off. Bollocks. A complicated way of showing you that it's got VIX on the bottom. Yeah, so you can add VIX down here if you're on TradingView, if you're doing a market chart to watch. I've now lost mine because I was fanning around there. There's down here. It's just closed, obviously, but yeah, it's a good time to start paying attention to this for strength, because it should start turning around, and I don't want to see people trying to smack breakout swings when the market's falling back down again, because it's got too much effect on our plays just now, just because of liquidity through summer. So make sure you've got, even if you don't have the chart up, put some levels that are semi-sensible on the next day, like priority low, priority high, and just see if it's getting outside of one of them. Because otherwise you're going to end up holding on to things where you should be selling or buying things when it's probably not a good time to buy, because we want to play these flags when we've got strength in it and strength in the market. So we need the right day to look to buy along with the right setup. So sadly, that's just where we are right now in the rotations, but could be a time where we detach again, but for now we're not. So please pay attention to the market as well if you're swinging, and not just there's a 500% gainer, so small should be hot, because if they're not a 500% gainer, then they follow the market. LW dart, right? Okay. Tail, yeah, tail looks good. It should be a pretty nice swing. It's a WWR, it's got a good enough setup. You run sectors now, I'm guessing. Yeah, it looks. Yeah, it's good. It's never the most violent mover. It shouldn't be too fast. Probably just bounce 20 cents or so into here, and then you can see what's happening next. What was your last one? And then there's a theme going here. Yeah. Same kind of look as Solar's had. So it could be a next sector rotation, I suppose.
Yeah, I thought DNN has like a lot of the uranium charts have like little kind of SOS going on from the accumulation pattern there. From the spring there at 90 cents. I thought it kind of has like uranium, lithium, all those kind of have like an accumulation setup similar to the solars. Like LICY just broke out. It's another lithium name and stuff like that.
Look at that volume. What the fuck is going on here? They're playing every second day.
Been super weird, but the pullbacks have been really nice to buy on, so I've been trading a lot of these lithium names lately. Like LAC and LICY and whatnot.
I mean, they've been, what did Musk said that if you're not in lithium, then you're doing it wrong or something like here.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't see any reason for this to not continue even further from here. Like these lithium names.
Yeah, I mean, it's a giant version of what we were playing in smalls, isn't it? It's a huge flag.
Yeah.
It's like basically your volatility expansion move, like just expanding its range and then it flags over and over. Still in that phase until it stops doing that and it starts doing that phase.
I didn't hear what you said.
HNRG was the one that was showing this on. Maybe not. I thought I had it drawn on one of them. I remember what it was. What was the one I bought last week? Tail?
You're the BTU?
BTU, maybe not. That's the one. Yeah, that's the volatility expansion trade. You see it happening live, so that's kind of what it does. Like our flags that we're playing are like these ones. You can see what can potentially happen with them, and how big the flags get over and over and over again. But it's still all just the same expansion of range over and over until it ends up in neutral range and sideways distributing, and then going into phase 3 sell-offs and phase 4. So it's the world we live in. And like there was a mini one here, expansion range, and then that was your sell-off. But yeah, they all look the same idea. So energy's where shit is, just because of what's been happening. None better than the old solars.
I knew you couldn't go a whole session
20
without
pages
talking
of me.
about solars.
There's 20 pages of me talking about Sunday Session. And there's still only like, there's like 8 people that played it after the amount of times I talked about it. It's not going to show me how many pages there are. It's 16 pages. Of just me and Boba. I mean, it was the trade. They were all the trade. Or runners in them. I mean, they even look like they can keep breaking out. Like plug gets over that, it's just a little bit nutty looking. So still lagging a bit. It's still like in range, so it could potentially get up to like 6 or 7s. Yeah, they still look good, so I struggle to not play them like every day. But if the market's hot, that's where the strength is in them, just because of ENPH and tan. It's still holding up there. Starting to look like it might diamond off a bit here though. So there's another move coming one way or another that will be somewhat violent. So if you're playing solars, just have this on watch along with tan and the market. Same with if you're playing uraniums, have uranium up. Yeah, I think my breakfast is going to die already, so I better go make some dinner. But if you want any charts looked at, then just give me the name of it. But the list is on the floor and at both floors. You should all have it. Just chart them out and find the right ones. Compare them to ones that have moved as well. So there's a list of ones that have moved because I celebrate them. We can have a watch list of ones that have gone to compare to the ones that haven't gone yet, and see if you can find ones that look most similar, because they tend to work pretty much the same way. So store ones that work, whether you put them in a Discord or save them as a link or something on that, just put them on watch as well. Because that's how I learned anyway. It was just replication of good trades. But yeah, I'll let you go because I've been up since like 4 o'clock this morning. Now, see you tomorrow. No worries, man.